how do you deliver value to customer faster? What is the new workflow? What is the attitude that you are having towards your associates or AI? And then are you saying that I'm going to have a lot of fun with this technology? I'm going to make the best out of it. Yeah. Idea generation is a continuous process.
I did hear a quote that you said saying no to AI in retail is like saying no to printing money or making money.
Yeah.
Welcome to Retails, a podcast exploring how the world's most exciting retailers are staying ahead of change. Through honest conversations with leaders, we uncover the stories behind the technology, how smart executives make decisions, modernize their organizations, and lead through a time of ambiguity in an industry that never stands still like retail. I'm your host, Brooke Moody, AWS Retail Tech Leader, and today I'm here with Mandeep. Mandeep is the SVP of Digital Product and Omnichannel Innovation for Tapestry, who owns two of the world's most iconic retail brands. Thank you for joining us here today in New York City.
Thank you so much for having me.
This is so exciting. We're on the cusp of a brand new year. It's 2026. We're about to go into NRF. I would love to just start by reflecting on 2025. We had a chat a couple weeks ago and you were telling me that 2025 was a big year, and I feel like that's the sentiment for a lot of retailers. 2025 was massive. Why was that?
Well, on many, many fronts. I mean, if you look at our results, right, whatever we promised to the street, to our investors and to our customers, more importantly, we delivered on it. Our brand, we have the brand heat right now with Coach, and we delivered some great experiences for our customers. Our product is resonating. Tabby and Brooklyn are super hit. Basically, Duo from Kate Spade is resonating with the customers. So it worked on all ends, basically.
That Tabby bag is so hot with the Gen Z. It's been a real shift in the traditional positioning of the Coach brand, right? Like you've gone through this transformation, you're working in a completely different customer demographic.
Yeah.
Are there different customer expectations, and certainly last year, that you're needing to evolve the experiences that you're delivering to meet?
No, I think if you look at the history of our iconic brand, right, all the way from when it was founded with tanned glove, and from there to our positioning in 2020 when Todd joined as CEO of Coach and Joanne as CEO of Tapestry, everything was deeply customer focused and everything working backwards from customer. And we transformed our company into this consumer obsessed and data driven. We put the foundation. And then in 2022, we focused our positioning as expressive luxury because we believe in having people, customers, everyone expressing themselves and that courage to be real, which is the purpose of Coach. And so that conviction and investment into being that purpose-driven brand and seeing the results of that and delivering on our promise to our customers and to our investors it's all been great, basically.
It's a mecca of customer experience.
Yeah.
It's absolutely incredible what the team has achieved.
100%, right? Like I personally think of, experiences as, especially when you're creating experiences, digital products, omnichannel products, you can put them into three buckets. There is customer pain points. Mm-hmm. You are trying to address a need, and then you're trying to delight them, right? And so if you think of your experiences like that, again, focusing on the customer, from our products to our online experience to our store experiences, that's the idea that the customer is our guest that we have invited to our house, basically, right? And they should have a fun time, all the way from our store associate helping them with the experience to when they come online, are they able to discover, are we telling a good story online? And then when they are ready to buy, can they buy with one click, frictionless?
We want to talk a bit today about Agentic Commerce.
Yes.
Agentic AI.
Yep.
It felt like at the start of 2025, we were all still talking about generative AI.
Yes.
A full year has passed and now it's all Agentic AI and Agentic Commerce. Yeah. Maybe let's start with, how do you define Agentic Commerce?
I would again go back to the customer journey, right? When you are, for example, looking to buy a product, or you're just scrolling. Where do you start your discovery, right? You start your discovery earlier. People used to start their discovery maybe with a Google search, right? But if you look at ChatGPT, since ChatGPT came, it's the fastest product with, I think it reached 100 million monthly active users within a month.
It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Just the widespread adoption.
Correct. If I remember my stats right, like 57% of Gen Z use ChatGPT every day, basically, right? So what used to be keywords has become prompts now. People are starting their discovery journey and their research journey with ChatGPT.
Do you know, I heard this stat that apparently consumers now are willing to enter up to 10 lines of text to get a search result. That is unheard of.
Unheard of, right? And that will change the behavior. So that is also telling you about how the shopping journey, how the shopping behavior is changing,
Yeah.
right? And so you have to be there where the customers are. So step one is when the customer goes to ChatGPT and asks for, hey, what are the best handbags for going to party? Or they describe, this is what I'm doing. I bought a handbag. My daughter just started in college.
Oh, congratulations.
So, thank you so much. So for me, it's easy choice because I'm at, Tapestry and Coach.
You may have a bias.
I have a bias, but like if you were to go and search for best party bag or best handbag for someone going to a college, you want to give a gift, right? What better gift to give them as a coach for many people, right? I hear this from a lot of consumers that this is their first handbag and this is their mom's first handbag, was the brand. So that's why it's an iconic brand. So you go there, now you're searching for different things. I want a durable bag which will last a long time. I want these attributes, and then you have to show up there, right? Your brand has to show up, and you have to show up well. And when customers are asking these questions, so the first thing in agentic commerce journey is, are you showing up on those engines? And showing up, and then are you showing up in the top, considerations, and then are you showing up in a quality way? And then are customers clicking, and is the traffic coming to your site?
It can feel a bit like a black box in this new kind of magical art that we need to learn around AEO. Would you say that the principles of SEO and best practice SEO still apply?
Yeah, they do. They absolutely do.
Yeah.
And but it goes beyond that now, because like I said, the bots, they look for text and frequently asked questions. So practical advice, you have to make sure your schema is right. It's optimized. The bots can crawl. They can crawl in time. The site is performant. The frequently asked questions are there. They are the right questions. You are speaking the customer language, not some flowery, romance.
Yeah. Be specific.
Be specific. So I think that part is extremely important for you to work on. And what we've also learned is, if you go and do any search on ChatGPT or any engine, what you will see is that the sources where they are getting that information is not just your site.
It's Reddit.
Right.
It's TikTok. It's anywhere else that your customers are discussing your brand.
Correct. It's all these other publications which are there. So you have to show up there as well. So you have to have those partnerships. You have to work to make sure the content shows up there well, so that when the LLMs crawl and learn, they have the knowledge about your products and you're showing up the right way.
That's discoverability. But how are you thinking about that more end-to-end and agent making a purchase on a customer's behalf in the landscape that you're in?
Look, you can look at the journey in today's is human to digital, right? You're going on a website. Still, most of the people are going on a website and they're doing their research and buying it. And then next part is, so from human to digital, which is where we are today, to call it human to agent, which is human working with a chat GPT and so on and so forth. And phase 3, you can think of as this agent to agent, which everyone is hyping. My take is, so great. So you have to be there. So another way to kind of like think about this strategically about this framework, it's not my framework, but I read it somewhere and I like it. So uh, I'm happy if others adopt it. It's defend, extend, and append. So
Okay.
defend is, you have to make sure, let's say if you're not discoverable, but everybody else is discoverable, then you're not defending your position and you're losing ground, right? So you have to
Correct.
defend your position. Extend it where you have a great journey or you're extending that customer journey. And append is you're coming up with a completely new way. It doesn't necessarily, this framework, it's not necessarily to do just with agentic. It can apply it anywhere. You're creating this disruptive experience, right? So, I mean, AWS at the time was appended the whole infrastructure market, right? And so that's the general framework if you think about it. Now, if you apply it to agentic commerce, so you have to take care of the defend. You can extend that journey. But then my point, which you were also saying is, in this world of agents, there can be two. I mean, generally when everyone talks about it, right, you will hear on YouTube or on different news channels, you hear two things, right? There is one school of thought, which is abundance. This will create a next set of abundance and all of that.
Yes.
And then the other school of thought is a little bit doom and gloom, which is like it'll replace everyone and nobody.
Will we even need e-commerce
Correct.
experiences?
Correct.
What does that mean for our e-com teams?
Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So Givon's paradox, meaning it creates abundance for everyone and it will accelerate a new era of productivity. My take on this is, in either case, what is not going to change? And this is what Jeff Bezos, says.
What are the enduring needs of the
enduring
customers?
needs? What is it? Everybody's focusing on what is going to change, but what is not going to change in future?
Yes.
Right? What is not going to change is the creativity, the storytelling, the love for the brand, the quality of goods, the way you make someone feel, right? The way the product makes someone feel.
And if we can uplift and if we can augment and if we can, say, for example, put our sales associates on a level playing field with the customers, if we can provide that customer with that next level of detail, answer the questions that they didn't even know that they needed answering, then we're uplifting everyone's experience.
Correct.
So practically speaking, at Tapestry, what are the use cases that you're seeing success with agentic so far?
I just mentioned a lot on discoverability.
Yes.
Right? So we actually, and I'm not going to name names here, but you can, Google it easily. But first thing was making sure that we're speaking consumer speak versus merchant speak.
Yeah.
Right? So city tote bag versus if somebody is looking for a tote bag, sometimes there'll be like large tote bag which can handle a laptop, large brown bag, tote bag, right? Or
Potentially
sometimes
some other parameters.
Whatever.
PU, real leather,
Right.
colors,
Correct.
whatever it is.
We had pillow tabby, and then customers were searching for puffy bag, right? So how do you then take that the merchant speak and convert it into consumer speak?
That seems to be often a critical starting point, right?
Correct.
Making sure that product data is in really great shape.
Correct. So that's one, right? We're also working now. We talked about AO because that's our priority, and we're going to focus on that. And then we're also focusing on enabling that buying for customers to be able to buy on ChatGPT.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you expect that customers will make that full purchase flow without visiting?
No, I don't think so. This is where I go back to defend, extend, and append. So you extend the journey do I think that'll be huge? I don't think so. But again, like you have to be there. So there is this really good book which a lot of people can read, which is How Brands Grow, and it talks about this concept of mental availability and physical availability. And the concept of physical availability is when they are ready to buy, when they have made the consideration, they should be able to purchase, and there should be no friction in there, right? So now let's say they found you and they researched and your back surfaced on ChatGPT. I agree with you. Most of them will then come to site and learn more or go to stores. But what if that a few people, few customers wanted to just make a purchase right there? So then you want to remove the friction, basically.
So we've talked a lot about the consumer side and what agentic is going to mean for the consumer side.
Yeah.
How are you thinking about agentic and supporting the back office and the sales associate experience?
We have talked a lot about that in press, so this is not new news, and we partnered with AWS on this. But 2 years ago, when in November 2023, when ChatGPT became like big, we wanted to be ahead of the curve, right? And so we partnered with AWS. What we did was we created this application. It was a simple application. We started collecting a lot of that feedback. And then we synthesized that in what are the themes using generative AI, what are the themes which are coming out of that. We made it agentic where it would automatically take that theme and send that to the corporate team. We heard not this last holidays, year before, that our associates were telling us that the music in the stores is not good. Now, again, I told you it's like in customer is our guest, inviting the guests in the house. Would you want to play music that they don't like? No. It's all of these things.
You want them to be having fun and enjoying their experience.
Correct. So we then were able to quickly react to that and change that music in real time, relatively
close enough to real time.
Right? So that was one experience. Another one was where customers told us that they would prefer like an extra zipper on a product, and that influenced our product design.
Really?
Yeah. So those are that is just one way. So the main story here is you have to think about what are new ways of doing the work, not your org chart. Again, thinking about the customer. Right?
Yes.
And how do you deliver value to customer faster? What is the new workflow which can be there? So that's, and can that be made agentic?
I feel like so many of the conversations I've had in the last 12 months have been about how do we use AI for this slice of a process?
Yeah.
And not many of the conversations are how do we completely reimagine the process?
Yeah.
At Tapestry, how are you getting the support needed to be able to reimagine these processes? And what does that look like with the leadership team?
I'll recommend another good book because it's very pragmatic and it has all the anti-patterns on what not to do. The Octopus Organization by Phil LeBrun, if I'm pronouncing his name right.
Oh, Phil LeBrun, he works for AWS now.
Correct.
Yes.
So that book, and I was listening to his podcast, and he talks about just get started with small experiments. Look at this example that we talked about of collecting the associate feedback. We made it agentic. First, we started with the simple feedback, and then there was human in the loop, which was then looking at the feedback and then sending it manually. Then later, we converted into a fully agentic flow.
Okay.
Right. We didn't spend millions of dollars on it. There were a couple of really passionate people in our team who wanted to do it when this technology came, and there was a business need. And the customer in this case is an internal customer. So you start looking at, okay, where is there are pockets which are passionate, they want to do it. You break silos, you create this small cross-functional teams, and you just let them go.
Teams in organizations are wanting to experiment. They've got all the great ideas. We just need to be giving them the mechanisms to
100%.
go and play and experiment and safe to fail.
This is why we at Tapestry, one of the great places to work, also for anyone who is interested, but also if you think about it, right, we are successful because we also focus on our associates. So associates are at the heart of the business. Everyone, even the corporate team which is sitting, what are you doing today to invest in them, to grow them, to to
I
learn
love
them,
that.
to retrain them. You have to have a lot of empathy, right? Before this podcast started, somebody said, whatever journey you are starting, or if you're going to a party, if you go with a positive attitude and say, I'm going to have a great fun time,
Yeah,
then you will probably have a great fun time. So attitude matters, right?
it does.
And so what is the attitude that you are having towards your associates or AI, and how are you approaching it? And are you saying that, I'm going to have a lot of fun with this technology, I'm going to train my teams, we're going to make the best out of it? And are you having that empathy for your associates? So I think if you then focus on your team and their growth, then you are bringing in the right type of leadership, then you will get the outcomes.
And practically speaking, how are you enabling your team members to surface these ideas? Is there forums? Is there Slack channels? Like
Yes.
how is it being surfaced?
Well, all of it, right? Like
Yeah.
idea generation is a continuous process. Good ideas come from anywhere, right? I'll give you another real example. One of the marketing operations in coach team, she leads marketing operations. She got so excited about technology that she had this idea of getting insights, creating a bot, creating an agent from customer insights, which all of the data which was sitting on the database. She just not asking for permission, just going forward, right? In my team, people are thinking of how can we create experiences, how do we create this design, and how do we prototype it, how do we prototype it, how do we launch it very quickly? So we are taking all of these ideas, but then we are putting it through the lens of, is this the right it, right? Again, going back to, you have to have these frameworks, whether you call it a one-door decision or a two-door decision.
Yes.
That doesn't take away the basic due diligence that you have to do to say, is this the right investment? And you don't want to spread yourself too thin also.
In doing the research for this podcast,
Yes.
I did hear a quote that you said saying no to AI in retail is like saying no to printing money or making money.
Yeah.
Can you expand on that for me?
Yeah. Discoverability, when you invest using AI to augment the data, you are improving your SEO, you're improving your on-site conversion. Those are direct outcomes that we saw increase in our conversion, single-digit lift, and we saw single-digit percentage lift incremental in traffic which comes to your site because of augmented data. So in everything that you do, right? Again, I go back to the right it, right? You have to think about, what is your hypothesis? How will it benefit the customer? And ultimately, how will it benefit the business outcomes, right? Whether it could be better customer acquisition, right? Which is one of the things that we focus on. Our biggest focus is acquiring new customers, Gen Z. But if you think about acquisition, what defines acquisition, right? It's you do a whole bunch of marketing, and then the customer comes to your, or consumer comes to your site, and then they have to buy, and then the acquisition is complete.
Yes.
Right? So for that, you have to show up in the right way. So we are using AI to being discoverable, talking about AEO, SEO, and then when they come to site, giving them the right recommendations, telling them the right story, so that you can help them purchase the bag or the goods or the footwear that they're looking for. And so that, like, end-to-end journey, then we are using AI in all of the different pieces of that.
Couple of rapid fire ones just to close us out.
Yes.
What are your key predictions for 2026?
I do believe agentic becomes a bit more mainstream, not even if it is not like fully autonomous. I do think the agentic tools will see broader adoption, whether it is in software development, experience creation, marketing. I do think that world will see higher generative AI adoption than ever before. I think this is the year of acceleration. So that's my one prediction on this.
If you were a retailer right now who hasn't really gotten into the agentic commerce experimentation mindset, what would be your advice on where to start?
Well, just get started. Like pick a tool, pick a process, pick an area, just like we did with associate feedback. Be a technology teenager. And all of the leaders, everyone has to be that. So just get started. Like don't wait for the perfect situation, right? Or perfect project. Like see what you can, where do you see drudgery, like, and where can you remove it?
There's so much to learn. The space is evolving so
Yeah.
rapidly. You've mentioned a couple of great resources already, but how do you keep yourself up to date?
Podcasts like this,
Yes.
that's one.
Do you have any favorites?
Yes, Lenny's podcast is my one favorite. Diary of a CEO.
Excellent
Those are my
podcast.
personal favorites. So generally, I consume content from that. Books, I mentioned a couple already.
Yes, and we'll put the links because I think those are books that everybody should read.
Yeah, those are just good starting points, basically.
Yeah, fabulous. Mandeep, thank you so much. I think it's been such a phenomenal conversation to have to start 2026, going into this surprise and delight, always keeping customers at the forefront of what we're doing. And as retail technologists, if we kind of keep that as our North Star, we won't go wrong. So
Well, thank you so much. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
having me. I enjoyed the conversation.